They can't deny it anymore, as the Lakers have officially been robbed by the NBA in what has been a crazy year of officiating. A shocking new report has dropped, revealing some wild information as it pertains to both Luka Doncic and the NBA in general. We're going to break that down as well as discuss multiple Lakers updates ahead of what's going to be a crazy final few games of the season. But before we get into it, folks, if you're a part of the percentage who aren't subscribed to the channel, this is the place to be for daily Lakers content. Your guys' support has been unbelievable as we're on the road to 20,000 subscribers. So thank you guys again for your continued support. And a bunch of things to go over today. Obviously, the Lakers are coming off a big win in Dallas, an emotional return for Luka Doncic. We had some comments from him as well and updates, all these different things. But I want to start with what's been the big storyline over the past little bit, and really the whole season has been refereeing, especially since Luka Doncic has been traded over to the Los Angeles Lakers. His whistle has been interesting to say the least, and we all know about the technical foul that he was given, and of course how he was ejected from the game. But what I want to talk about today is how the NBA officially cannot deny it anymore. As you can see here yesterday, that the Luka Doncic technical foul at the 7:40 mark of the fourth quarter was officially rescinded upon league office review, which actually has some pretty interesting implications going forward. But the most important thing is that it was officially rescinded, and the NBA can't deny anymore that at least in that one instance, but really more than just that instance, the Lakers were not only screwed, but I think consistently this year, not just the Lakers, across the NBA, the Lakers have been, or the NBA in general, the refereeing has been very, very poor. And that's something that has, again, do I think the refs deserve the blame even for that Lakers loss against the Thunder? I don't think necessarily that it was fully the Lakers' fault. However, compared to some other games, they ejected Luka Doncic with time left in the game in what was at the time a fairly close game. So I think in general, the refs are horrible. But they can't deny the fact. Clearly, they went back. They saw, and this is, of course, a technical foul if you missed it, where Luka Doncic was yelling at a fan, said a couple of profanities to a fan because the fan was talking, trashing him back. Nothing crazy. And then, of course, the referee decided to give Luka the second technical foul of the game and eject him, which, I think ejections in the NBA should be very, egregious. Like something egregious has to happen in order to eject a player. No one's there to watch the referees. No one's there to watch JT or referee a basketball game. But he ultimately decided to take matters into his own hands and eject Luka Doncic in the game. And you can see here, he confirmed yesterday that he was talking to a fan when he got ejected. That had nothing to do with the refs, so I didn't understand it. And again, this happened, the technical foul happened a couple days ago. But the reason that I wanted to bring it up is because it's at the point now where heading into the playoffs, which is going to be a huge talking point, the referees always, every call is always, of course, of bigger magnitude once the playoffs hit. And especially with Luka Doncic, who some consider not necessarily a complainer, but someone who complains to the refs a lot and someone who, exaggerates calls, all these different things. I think after watching him for, the entire season this year, I guess, especially the half of the season, but even, after he got traded to the Lakers, watching a lot of his highlights in Dallas and, of course, watching the playoffs, we've all been paying attention to Luka for the most part. If you're a basketball fan, seeing the way that he plays ball, I don't think he even argues that much, especially compared to some of the players we see across the league. And the fact that his whistle is as bad as it is. Remember earlier on in the season, Redick came out and said that Luka has one of the worst whistles in the NBA. He's driving a ton. He's going to be doing all these things. Regardless of that, he wasn't, he just doesn't get calls. So to see that happen was a little bit unfortunate. You even have James Worthy, former Laker, come out and saying the fans don't come to these games to see the referees. They come to see the players. The refs need to keep that in mind. And that's a big thing for me. If you're going to eject a player, they can't deny now that they got the call wrong because they rescinded the tech. But even in the last 2-minute reports, all these different things, the referees have been making it about themselves a little bit, too much, especially in this game. And refereeing an NBA game is an extremely difficult job. But when you go out of your way to give a tech, when clearly, and it was confirmed by the fan even came out and spoke after saying that he was having back and forths with Luka Doncic in the game. And then Luka said something to him. The fan confirmed it. Luka confirmed it. LeBron saw it. Dorian Finney-Smith saw it. I even, arguably think JT or the ref at the time, I believe that's his name, saw it. And he just decided, okay, we're just going to get him out. I don't want to deal with this anymore. Like, it makes no sense. The tech shouldn't have happened, and it cost the Lakers a game. The NBA can't deny anymore that they, at least on this instance, screwed over the Lakers. But more importantly, it's a bigger issue as the playoffs approach, and hopefully the Lakers don't get this particular ref anymore, because it was it's also very rare that you see the NBA rescind a tech of this magnitude. And I believe Luka has 14 techs now, and he's a couple, I believe it's 16, you get a suspension. So this has big implications in that regard. You can double check and fact check me down below regarding the actual numbers, but having one less tech on his, of course, resume, I guess, especially for this season, is a pretty big deal. I mean, we've seen how techs, on sports, like all these different things, especially with Draymond Green. We think about the incident years ago where he got suspended for a playoff game because of techs for kicking, I believe it was Steven Adams. So at the end of the day, the Lakers, they're in a good spot. They won the game yesterday, which is a big bounce back win, especially following the disaster class game against the Oklahoma City Thunder that the refs didn't help. So let me know down below what your thoughts are on that, but a few other things to go over today. Obviously, the Lakers are coming off of a pretty emotional win against the Dallas Mavericks, and there's a bunch of different things to go over. And you can see this here. It's a new story. Rob Pelinka spoke out in the trade a little bit. Adding another ball-dominant guard in Luka Doncic hasn't diminished Austin Reaves' ascent in LA one bit. My theory is basketball geniuses that love to win find ways to work together. And I wanted to bring this up because I had a video on it a couple days ago about how Austin Reaves isn't the problem at all, and that the mainstream media is talking a ton about how Austin Reaves in the middle of their struggles could be a problem. He doesn't know how to play off ball, all these different things. Rob Pelinka reveals that he values Reaves so much that he strived to hold him out of any trade talks when the Mavericks went to acquire Doncic. In the month-long process of the Luka Doncic trade discussions, you're thinking about players you may possibly have to trade in a deal like that. But one of these people that he didn't want to trade was Austin Reaves. Probably have another video on these full quotes, in the future. But I mean, there's a ton of different things going on. You have Western Conference executives comparing Lakers Austin Reaves to undrafted Hall of Famer. Like, there's a bunch of different things surrounding Austin Reaves here. To see the confidence that Rob Pelinka has in Austin Reaves and that he's instilled in his team, you love to see it. And that's why they ultimately managed to get Luka Doncic in a surprising turn of events without giving up their best young player in Austin Reaves. Of course, they gave up Max Christie, who's been doing solid for the Mavericks. But at the end of the day, there was a level of confidence that he had in Austin Reaves, and it's good to see that. I think everybody kind of sees now. Austin Reaves plays fine alongside Luka Doncic. Yes, there's always going to be a learning curve. There's always going to be times where they may look a little bit out of place just because they haven't played with each other a ton. They're both going to be mainstays on this Lakers team well beyond LeBron James's years and well beyond, a lot of the guys who are currently on the team's years. They are the core going forward, bearing another surprising trade. I mean, we saw the Luka Doncic trade, so I could expect a bunch of different, you don't really know what to expect anymore surrounding the Los Angeles Lakers and, I mean, in the NBA in general with all these trades. So it's going to be very interesting to see what happens there. And again, looking at the depth chart here as we enter the playoffs, Luka, Reaves, Rui, LeBron, and Jackson Hayes. That's going to be the starting five. We've been seeing it, and it's going to be interesting there. And regarding the standings now, Warriors lost against Harrison Barnes, one of their kryptonites there. So they dropped to the 7th seed, and they are in the play-in spot with 2 games to go. So the Lakers seem pretty clear now of the play-in spot. They seem to have basically virtually locked up the 3 seed with a couple games remaining. They're a game and a half up in the Clippers. So they seemingly have locked down the 3 seed, which is good. But you also, the play-in spot would be a very good spot for the Warriors to be. But at the same time, if they fall into that 6th seed, then of course the Lakers are going to have to, play them then. So there's a bunch of different outcomes here. And these last 2 games of the season are going to be crazy because you have Memphis and, of course, Denver and the Clippers in a 3-way tie, which is crazy. And the Lakers are separating themselves a little bit in that 3 seed spot. So it's going to be a crazy next few days, a crazy next few weeks, and hopefully the Los Angeles Lakers, this is the start of another championship run. Thank you guys for watching. See you later. Cheers.